Welcome to the Kevin Long Show, production of the Southgate Media Group. You can find us at southgatemediagroup.com. Music is Lift by Kevin McClelland of Incomputech.com. Royalty-free music as long as you give the dude his props. This episode of the Kevin Long Show is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Do you know a podcast fan? For 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty, head over to tweakedaudio.com and in the coupon code area, type Southgate. The Kevin Long Show is also brought to you by Coffee, where you can support us by going to coffee.com and searching The Kevin Long Show. No spaces. All right, it's that time of the week again. Time for the Kevin Long Show. And it's actually that time of the year again. Time for the state of the podcast. And today we have a special guest. That special guest is me. But to help me is Jesse Jackson. How are you, my friend?
I am wonderful. It is always a joy when we get together, whether you're visiting on my podcast or visiting on your podcast. Either way, it is so great to have you, to join you, and when you join me, it's just always lovely.
It really is. And I've had people in my prospective podcasting field on, and they're great guests, and I love them, but I really do enjoy chatting with you.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It is, we really, it's just always fun, and I love catching up on how life is going with you, how's the family, so yeah, good stuff.
Sweet. So I reached out to Jesse in October and said, hey, the 4-year mark, anniversary, podiversary, whatever you want to call it, is coming. Would you be willing to interview me? And I didn't really give Jesse questions or give an outline. So I don't know if he has questions to ask me, but I'm gonna call Omaha.
Okay.
And we're totally taking this a different way.
All right.
So the first thing I want to talk to you about is I saw that the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys might be in trouble. Is this for real this time?
So it appears that way. I have been on the record that I am a Jason Garrett fan. I think he is a very smart man. He seems to be a very kind man. He is a major Bruce Springsteen fan. He preaches the right message, but it just after 10 years, it doesn't seem to be working. So we think they need a new voice. So it does seem that after, and we're recording this on Monday after the Cowboys lost to the Patriots. And the reality is there's no shame in losing to the Patriots there in, Foxborough. I mean, they're amazing. Of course you are. But it seems they can't ever do what needs to be done. And so Jerry seems to be unhappy. I do not think there'll be a change before the end of the season.
Okay.
And so I do have to share, I have a good friend named Gary Grant, Kevin, who is a massive Cowboy fan. He has a tattoo on his arm of the Cowboy star, and it celebrates all 5 Super Bowl victories. I mean, he lives and breathes Cowboys. And he said what will happen is we will somehow, because the Eagles are not very good, we will win the division. And then just the way things are, the Cowboys will end up winning that game at home. And they will go to the next round of the playoffs, and everyone's going to be crazy. They're going to be talking about, oh, look, see, we're getting hot at the right time, and oh, here we're going to go, and then they will get their butts kicked in that team, but then Jerry will be able to say, well, look, we were able to, we made the playoffs, we won a division, so maybe we should give it one more chance. So I hope that doesn't happen, but yes, good job Omahaing, sir.
Okay, now here comes the bigger part of the Omaha. If I remember right, when you were fighting cancer,
Yes.
you still put out at least a show every week.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Where did you find that strength? Because I'm not sick. And when I got on the bus to come home from work today, I thought I need to email Rob and say, my heart might not be in this anymore.
Yeah.
Because the idea of doing the state of the podcast is to give a yearly update and be like, hey, we're doing really good. We're where we want to be.
Yeah.
And 3 out of the 4 years, it's been great. I've been right where I want to be. This year, not so much. So where does that strength, where did that come from?
You, without realizing it, you have picked a very topical topic. So I was a couple weeks feeling the exact same way. I'm only doing one Doctor Who episode a month with Charles. And I was like, okay, and when the Titans ends, we'll quit. And I said, and maybe it's just that Lessing Bruce it's run its string, right?
Mm.
And I'm sure you know this feeling, Kevin. You put your heart and soul into this. You think you give a good product, and then it doesn't feel like people listen.
Right.
And it's not that I'm sitting here going, oh, I want thousands and thousands of downloads so I can make lots of money. No, I want people to think that they enjoy the podcast enough that they would share it with people and do these things. So I was really thinking, like, maybe it's time to call it quits. I've had a good run, and I even talked to Linda about it, and she said, well, I thought you didn't care about the numbers. I said, I don't, but I just don't know if enough people listen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people care. And and then I got a couple people that were reached out to me about how much they enjoyed an episode, and then I had some nice guests. Like, all of a sudden, I got a lot of guests coming to that said, "Oh, Jesse, I'd love to be part of the podcast," because part of the challenge I have, Kevin, is finding people to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're always willing to join me, but after a while, it's like, well,
what's left to talk about?
Yeah, yes. Like, you and I could talk, absolutely, but
who wants to listen to two old guys ramble on?
Yeah, and so yeah, I was gonna see. I was gonna think about it, and then it just kind of took. So, to go back, when I was with fighting cancer, it was one of the ways I kept myself distracted. One of the things you want to do is to be positive and to make sure that you are being hopeful and doing things. And so by having this, you're able to give a purpose. And so that's when I first started. Um, like I have a schedule, Kevin, where I keep an Excel spreadsheet that says who do I have scheduled to talk to, and to make sure that I've got enough episodes in the bank. The other thing that's what I do is I'm lucky enough because I do an interview show. I will, like, I interviewed a guy this morning. I've got another guy today, earlier, right before this one. I have somebody else scheduled tomorrow. And so, since I only do one once a week, I can sometimes have 3 or 4 weeks in advance, so that when I'm really feeling depressed or tired, I can go, okay, I can take this away. But I will tell you, there are times when I get home and someone says, hey, Jesse, we're going to have to reschedule. And I kind of go, yes. Oh, that's okay, right? Because I'm just tired and I just want to sit in front of the TV or talk to Chris or Linda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
I felt that today. Like I had to get up early to figure out how long it was going to take me to ride the bus to work. And by the time I got home, I just thought, I'm just going to tell Jesse that I can't do it today. I'm just too tired. Yeah. But then I thought, no, I really need this today.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, I mean, it is, I think that is, we all can feel that way. And so I absolutely understand that at times where you go, man, what's happening? So, yeah.
All right, good.
Hope that answers the question.
It does. Do you... I know you listen to Springsteen by the Alphabet. I know I didn't say it right.
No. Springsteen
sings the alphabet.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, and so they're currently on a hiatus. They have gone through every song that. When they started, they had a list of every song Bruce Springsteen had released. Now, since that has happened, he's released Western Stars, the new album. And so they're going to go back a second round and talk about it. They're going to talk about any other new songs they've had. But yes, okay. I listened to it.
Well, I was going to say, what other podcasts do you listen? Do you have a lot? Because I do have a lot. And I was just, even not wanting to podcast, I just didn't want to listen to podcasts. I'd rather turn on, I listened to American Idiots by Green Day probably 8 times in 2 days.
Yeah.
And that's why I've got 28 episodes of Set Listing Bruce that I need to get through, because I'm finally back to the point where I can listen to Set Listing Bruce all day and be like, wow, that's a really good story that person had. Or I know that you did a gratitude. You were trying to do an episode every day this month. I'm excited to listen to those.
Yeah, and they're short. That's the good side. I mean, like, almost all of them are under 5 minutes. Not that I'm not that happy or grateful, but, I talk about something very quickly. Yeah, I have the same problem, Kevin, that I just was looking at my... I have one coming up next Tuesday, and Eric Paul Johnson, and he does a Face the Music, an Electric Light Orchestra podcast, where they go through every Electric Light Orchestra song in order of it being released.
I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, I listened to that, a couple of them. They're pretty good. They try to keep it about 15 minutes, which is nice. I do the West Wing Weekly, which is coming to an end because I love the West Wing. I try to listen to at least a little bit of the Boss Cast, the None But the Brave, and the other Springsteen podcast, just kind of as a Tramps Like Us, as a fellow Springsteen kind of, I listen to that. Rock in the Suburbs when it's a topic I enjoy. I like. I don't know if we got this with Mark and Hal is a really fun podcast that they Mark and Hal pick a topic and then debate it. Like, what is the worst Halloween candy?
Okay.
What is the best soup?
Well, the answer to the worst Halloween candy is candy corn.
Yes. Should brownies have frosting? And so just different things like that, and there can be fun. I try to listen a little bit of Cakes and Lunatics. I try to listen a little bit of yours. Mostly because I like you. I'm not into, I Dungeons and Dragons and role playing games is something I just missed out on, and it's at this point I don't have enough time in my life to learn how to do it. So those are the kind of I try to, and then the one of them I really really. And I'm the same thing. I am probably 12 episodes behind of the Penn Jillette's
Sunday School.
Sunday School, yeah, because I love it, and every time I listen to it, I'm happy. I just sometimes I get behind.
I'm gonna have to check that one out because
yeah,
if you like it, I might like it.
yeah. So how about you? Which ones do you listen to?
Oh, I listen to so many. The ones that I'm faithful on are Set Listing Bruce when I'm actually engaged in them. And I really like the TED interview. So what happens is the guy that hosts TED Talks, like the one he organizes them, after the talk, he will sit down with them and have an interview where they can go more in depth with whatever the topic was. So let's say your topic is global warming. You only have 30 minutes that you can talk about it on TV, but with a podcast, they're an hour long, so you can look at the numbers as to why it is real or why it is a hoax, or if it is a hoax, why not get a better life? It's really good. And then Capes and Lunatics, I listen to every episode that's about Spider-Man.
Yes.
Just because of the boy. And then other stuff, like when Charlie and his skinny rich friend do an episode, I'll listen to those. And there's a lot.
Yeah, there is.
Next Stop Everywhere.
Yes.
I listen to Rob's New Media Lab.
Yes.
And then there's a whole bunch of people that aren't even in the network, like the Gaming Outsider, or there's a podcast that's specifically to Nintendo that I listen to, and a whole bunch of business ones.
Yeah, that's good. I just found a brand new one for me. It's been going on a while. It's called 10,000 No's with Matthew Del Negro, and he is a character actor. He's been in City on the Hill. He was in West Wing, and it's all about people that have faced adversity, that have hit 10,000 no's, and how you handle that. He just had Sarah Shaha, who is, she was on Person of Interest. She just played the love interest for a few episodes of Nathan Fillion on The Rookie. She's very strong career, and she talked about that her mother and her were living out of women's shelters, and her dad was very abusive. They had the Julie Benz from Dexter talked about after Rita was killed on Dexter, that okay, how do I find a job now? And it turned out to be really one of the best things happened to her. So it's a neat show. I wish I had time to listen to all of them. What I do is I cherry pick, like if I know the person or if the story sounds good.
Okay.
Oh, then I'll get that. But it is, it's very interesting.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got.
Well, and you also, you've got a family, and like I do too, but Chris is grown,
Right.
so I don't have, as they say on the ticket, I don't have squid duty.
Right.
Yeah, though I am right now with Linda, being with her broken ankle, I am spending a lot of time being a nursemaid with her.
Yeah, but that's still a lot different than raising 3 kids under the age of 11.
Yes, I mean that is just really, really tiring.
Yeah.
So absolutely, yes.
Okay, random question that really has nothing to do with anything. Are you still Ubering?
I am not right now. It is in my back pocket that when we need some extra money, I can go do it. Right now, we're at a point where we seem to be doing okay.
Well, you might need some extra money in January.
Yes, yes.
Because my grandbaby's being born, and I'm going to have to fly to Dallas, and we'll probably need a ride from the airport.
Nice. How exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Well, and I thought you were going to talk about, because the rumor is that Bruce is touring in 2020.
Oh.
And so I will need to make money to try to go see
Well,
him.
you might need to do that, too.
Mm-hmm. When is the little one due?
I don't remember. I think before the new year. But maybe after. I'll ask the wife. She knows.
That's so exciting. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff. And I know this is supposed to be about my show, but I'm trying to get rejuvenated.
Well, I will ask you this. What do you find most challenging about doing the podcast?
Do you know what? I think it's the self-promotion. Like, I've had good months where the numbers have been like 900 downloads, but when I'm in the middle of the podcast, I forget to say, hey, leave a review, subscribe. If you like the show, tell your friend. If you don't like the show, tell your enemy.
Yeah.
And then going on Twitter and being like, hey, here's a new show, or hey, I'm doing this thing, and I'm not very good at self-promotion.
Yeah, I think so. What I recommend is recording kind of an end where you'll hear that on some podcasts where they'll kind of do their own. If you want to be part of the podcast, you can reach out to and record that, and that way you can tag that in at the bottom. Get some nice music, put that down as a bed, and you could record that. That way, when you're editing, you can add that at the bottom. So that might be. Yeah.
I have an outro. I should probably change it because right now it says you can contact us at the Kevin Long Show, gmail.com, follow us on Twitter, but maybe I should just be like, hey, if you like the show, tell your friend. If you didn't like the show, tell your enemy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that would be, and the same thing, you can have that, and that way you've got that on the outro, so you know it. I think you do a really good job of retweeting my tweets and others, so I think... Well,
that's because you've got good stuff.
Well, thank you. But we want to do a better job of getting us out there for you, the other networks too. And the reality is you got to remember you started doing this because you enjoyed it.
Right.
And I do think, the other question is, when it stops being fun, that may be something, why is that? And kind of go from there.
That's a fair question. I like that.
Yeah, very good.
My turn to ask another question.
Yeah.
It's actually a two-parter. Do you have to be a fan of Bruce Springsteen to enjoy Blinded by the Light and the Western Star movie that came out?
No, in fact, I think, well, let's take that in two parts. So, Western Stars, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, Linda's sister, and her husband came with us, and we kind of did a double date. and we had a really nice time. And they went and saw the film with me, and they both ended up actually buying the album because they liked the music so much. So I think Western Stars it's different. Like, I know how much you really, really um, you enjoy Broadway. You were on the show and you talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a companion piece to the Broadway. I think you will enjoy seeing this different side, because not only does he, in a barn, it's a beautiful barn that they're in his property, he sings every song. They listen, he does each song, and then in between songs he talks about the song and of why he wrote it and other things that either influenced him or about his life. So it is a very good companion to Broadway.
Okay.
Blinded by the Light, I think, is something that is almost everyone could enjoy, because it truly is set in the late 80s. It's in UK. He's Pakistani, and there is a lot of prejudice he's fighting, and you don't. I did not know much about that, but I did know, that he, we all know what it's like to feel like no one listens to us, and no one knows what we're going through, and to see him, because it's based on a true story, finding his voice because of Bruce Springsteen. It's very well done. So I like it a lot. I recommend it, and I also think that. To answer your question, Doe, you don't have to be a Springsteen fan at all to really like this. I think you will like it, period.
Okay, cool.
Okay, good. Now, what do you guys have planned for the holidays?
We are cooking a ham this week for Turkey Day. Because what better food to have on Turkey Day than ham? And the brother-in-law and his kids are coming. And then there is, on my side of the family, Grandma makes pajamas every year, and we have a big family gathering. So we'll do that. And then on Christmas Day, the wife and the kids are flying to Texas to be with the sister that's about to have a baby.
That is a great tradition. I have a friend that I work with that his wife, they've always, one of their family traditions is every Christmas Eve, everyone gets new pajamas and a new movie. They buy a family movie. And so part of the Christmas Eve tradition is everyone changing into their new pajamas, and they make popcorn and they watch that movie together.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a really neat, wonderful, kind of thing to fill out and to do. So that sounds good.
Yeah.
So what, I'll ask you, what do you think, what do you have planned coming up on the podcast?
So I have a episode for Magic Monday ready to go. We're going to talk about, I don't even remember, but I know in the episode I throw out the challenge. I'm almost at 10,000 followers. And I kind of want to reach that. The goal was that we would reach it before you and I did this episode, but I didn't get it out in time to be like, hey, tell your friends. I also am going to do an episode of Magic Monday. I don't think it was Harry Potter, but one of the kids was shouting out spells, and it was bedtime, so I told them that I cast sleep.
Okay.
So we're going to do an episode of the sleep spell. We're going to look at it from the 1st edition spell and the 5th edition spell, because they're different and kind of handy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we've got, on the regular Kevin Long show, I need to do an episode of my top 10 favorite D&D modules. It's also NBA started, so I need to do my annual what would D&D be like if the NBA players were characters?
Oh, I
So
love that.
that's coming, and that's where we're at.
Oh, good. I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
I did one last year for just the Utah Jazz, and it was fun. And then I was thinking this year, originally when I saw the post for podcast every day in November, I thought, oh, hey, this will be great because there's 30 NBA teams, and that's like one a day. But that didn't work. So
I loved your comment. Like, what was I thinking?
right?
Yes, and I so appreciate that thought. And so yes, I like that.
So yeah, I still want to do one episode for every NBA team. It's just not going to be an everyday thing.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Well, that's good. Well, if you continue, if you're in a slump, you just need to talk to somebody. I'll join you anytime and we can talk about it together.
Sweet.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Well, unless you have anything else, I'm kind of at the end. So I think it's that time of the show that if you'll give me a minute, I'll get the clowns and you can chat with them for a minute.
Okay.
Hey, you guys, come here. Go say hi to Jesse.
Jesse,
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. Hi.
Good.
Okay, you got to talk one at a time. Sophie, you were here first.
They all together is the way they like to talk, right?
Jesse.
Yes. How is school?
Good.
Yes.
Today-
Yeah.
We gotta go to I think in the PE room for
nice.
where the older grades dress up as somebody and they tell us what they are. And then after that we did like some science in our class.
Oh, okay. Was there anyone dressed up that you really liked?
My friend was dressed up as Pocahontas, and one person
Ooh.
was dressed up as Walt Disney.
Nice. Very cool. Good deal. And I guess Thanksgiving's coming up. Are you guys excited?
Yeah. I'm especially excited for Christmas.
Why?
Yes.
Cause present, and we get to go to Texas for the first time.
I heard. That is exciting.
Do you guys know where Jesse's from?
Where?
Jesse is from Texas.
That's right. You guys are coming to my area. So who knows? We might be able to meet in person.
Because where do you live in Dallas?
So, you know where the DFW airport is? I'm in a city called Louisville that is just north of the airport.
Okay.
Where are you guys going to?
I want to say it starts with a K.
Okay. Keller?
What's that?
Keller?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
My
Let me know.
sister, chicken and a Pizza Hut. My older sister, who lives in Texas,
Yes.
she might get me American Girl doll.
Ooh, that would be nice.
I really like American Girl dolls. And my American Girl doll that I chose is gonna have orange curly hair.
Ooh, I
And
like
her
that.
name is Denise.
Nice.
Sarai is getting a curly hair, short hair named Samantha.
Okay.
Hi. And
Good.
Sarai can talk now.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
You're silly.
They are always silly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's why we like them. Okay, are you guys
Yes.
done?
right.
Okay,
Thank
say
you.
goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, Spencer, come talk to Jesse for a minute. Come on.
Hi, Jesse.
Bye.
Hi, Jesse.
Okay,
All I can say is
go get
hi,
ready for bed.
Hi.
Jesse, were you Jesse for Halloween?
No, I wasn't Jesse for Halloween.
But you know what? Jesse does like horror stuff.
Guess what?
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
What were
I
you?
was gonna be Jessie for Halloween, but my sister got me a present for my birthday.
Ooh,
What
Yeah,
was it?
she was going to be Jessie from Toy Story,
Oh,
but
I
then
like that.
she was Anna from Frozen.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, good night, guys. Go get ready for bed.
Night.
All right. Well,
Good. Nothing wrong with that.
nope. Hey, shh. You got quiet now. Well, that I think will do it for this episode of the Kevin Long Show. So, if you haven't heard already, if you like the show, tell your friend. If you don't like the show, tell your enemy. Leave a review, because those help. If you're interested, head over to wherever you listen to your podcast and check out Set Listing Bruce with the one and only Jesse Jackson, who is not the Reverend.
That is right. Yes, please do. And I cannot stress enough, go to wherever you get your podcast from, and there is a place where you can subscribe and rate and
You
review
can't
us.
see, my camera's not on.
It makes a world of difference in, when we're feeling down and we see someone has said some nice things about us, it really, really does make a difference. So yeah, do a favor. That would help us tons.
Well, so for me, myself, and I, and Jesse, mahalo, and have a great day.
So long. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for joining me
that's
tonight.
great. No, I appreciate it. Tell the little ones I loved catching up with them, and I'm going to go check on Linda.
Yeah, okay. You have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Do you do this every night?
Nope, I don't do it every night.
Just once a week?
Nope. With Jesse, it's probably every 2 months. Maybe 3 months. Okay. If you're not in your jammies, get in your jammies.
This is fun. Okay, so
Sophie, did you hear me? Then get in your jammies. Again, thank you for listening to The Kevin Long Show. You can find us on southgatemediagroup.com. You can find The Kevin Long Show on Facebook by searching The Kevin Long Show. You can find us at Twitter by searching at The Kevin Long SH1. You can also email the show at thekevinlongshow@gmail.com.